edition of RB&D Reviews. I'm one of your hosts, Rob.
And I'm Dave.
And we just got out of seeing the movie I, Frankenstein. It stars Aaron Eckhart as the Frankenstein monster, who kind of gets involved in a battle between good and evil. There's a war going on in the shadows that the human world is not supposed to know about, and it's between two characters. The good, which are these gargoyles that sit on top of churches that can also take human form, and there's also the demons who, of course, are demons. They also can take human form, and they want to get a hold of the Frankenstein monster as well as Dr. Victor Frankenstein's journal so they can use it for their points for world domination. And also, Bill Nye plays Dr. Wexler, who is trying to find a way to reanimate dead bodies, so he is also looking for the Frankenstein monster as well as the journal itself. It's based on a graphic novel, but overall, Dave, I think I may have a candidate for the worst movie of the year, at least until the end of the year, because I really didn't care too much for this movie because, for one thing, I found the movie to be kind of bland and uninteresting, and I didn't really feel involved in the story at all, and the action scenes weren't really suspenseful or even really all that good. I felt like the movie was also full of plot holes as well. Like, you know, there's a lot of stuff you can pick apart that didn't make sense. Like, if people aren't really supposed to see these big battles going on, you know, you figure, like, if they're happening in the street, you know, somebody would notice them and all that other stuff.
That was kind of like a thing, too, and you'd think, because there's this one scene where Frankenstein's, like, beating up, like, one of those demons, and then this cop ends up seeing it, and I mean, if people aren't supposed to see it, then it should all be invisible to the regular human eye, but he sees him, and then he's telling him to, like, surrender and all that. He's got his gun out and everything, so that was kind of a bad plot. And then
and you mentioned the demons. The demons aren't really that good villains because they get destroyed so easily in this movie.
Well, I mean, that's a typical cliche of these things. I mean, the head demon, I mean, it took a little bit to bring him down, and that's what they were trying to do with this, was, like, continue the original Frankenstein story of, like, this is what takes place after Dr. Frankenstein and his wife are gone and everything, and the monster, like, still lives on, because Dr. Frankenstein didn't know how long his monster would last. Like you said, it's based off a graphic novel, and movies that have to do with graphic novels nowadays, unless they're like Marvel comic books, are kind of can be real bland and really stupid.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. This interesting. Speaking of the graphic novel, not too long ago we saw the movie R.I.P.D. and one of the complaints I had about that movie was the villains were computer animated. Here, the demons are actually made up, and I think that really helped. I mean, the gargoyles, when they're gargoyles, are still computer animated, but I really liked that the demons weren't really computer animated characters, and I liked that the movie was it moved at a fast pace. Sometimes this movie came across as a sort of like a TV pod because I thought the sets were kind of very low budget and some of the special effects weren't that good, and there's a lot of expository dialogue because normally with TV shows you have like an hour to tell the story, but here there was so much expository dialogue. I mean, at the beginning I was kind of lost. I didn't know what was going on and who these characters were, and once everyone started, explaining what's been going on,
it's still the way the film was. You could tell it was like more of a movie than a TV show. It just had that, but it moved the same way. I mean, the thing that surprised me, it feels like the movie is like shorter than it really is too, because I was like wondering what time it was, like right after the movie was done. I was thinking it was like earlier than it really was. This movie is like, it's 2 hours, but it seems like it's only like an hour and 45 minutes. The sets were the one thing that I liked, although the problem I had with it was, it's like, you could tell this didn't take place, you could tell this was like filmed somewhere else, but they made it seem like it was filmed in the United States. I mean, yeah, the actors had like a British accent, but they didn't keep their accents all the time. A lot of people talk like they were American, but you could tell these sets were not from America. They were somewhere out of Europe.
Yeah, I don't think this movie is supposed to be set in America. The problem I had with it was I didn't know where this took place, because the Frankenstein story, I think, either took place in Switzerland or Germany, but
usually Germany.
But there's a lot of characters in here that have British accents, so I didn't know if this movie was supposed to take place in England or somewhere else in Europe, because there's a lot of those big, nice looking, church buildings and office buildings and all that stuff. And I
Yeah.
thought this took place in Europe, but I didn't really
know where.
I didn't really care too much for it, and I can't really recommend it. I'm going to give I, Frankenstein a snuff at rating. And what about you?
I think if anything, anybody that's really going to enjoy this is people that enjoyed the graphic novel that had to do with this, but other people that have never read it, or they're not familiar with this type of stuff, or they're not into this type of stuff, I don't think would even bother with it. So I heard like the people behind us were even saying they were kind of like disappointed, and they were like, that was like total crap, even at the very, very end. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a snuff at all. So.